We're gonna go over an up-to-date pool 4 and 5 tier list with one of the best players and content creators, DeraJN. I'll link him in the description. We could start with Orca, who's D. Maybe we should change his D to F. Do you agree with this?
Yeah, Orca is F for sure.
Have you ever had a successful deck with Orca?
Yeah, we played Orca the first day it came out for like 2 hours, and I don't think Orca maybe won one game out of those entire 2 hours, like where Orca mattered, and that was it. It's just like, I don't think it's good at all. I think it's awful.
Yeah, I played like 2 hours, maybe 3 hours when he first came out because I unboxed him. I got so lucky and fortunate, and I just couldn't make it work. And I was like, if I make a video on this, I'm lying. I'm coping, you know? So okay, F tier. All right. Moving on. Zabu is S tier.
Oh, S tier, yeah.
S tier.
For sure.
Right? Okay. No complaints or no disagreement in the chat, I don't think. Zabu is just...
Well, I think they've announced that they're going to change Zabu, so that pretty much means it's mostly S tier, I feel like.
Yeah, I guess we could also put Silver Surfer up here and kind of talk about both of these, but there is a patch has been announced that they're going to change these cards. We don't know how. What changes would you like to see to these?
I want to see Zabu go to 4, and I want to see Surfer... Well, what I want to see is different than what I expect to see, but I wanted to see Surfer just get like more of a slighter nerf than I think they're going to do. I want it to be like... them change the effect slightly to be like only 3 things get buffed.
Oh,
but I don't think they can do that in a data only patch. So I think it's going to be like maybe Surfer goes to 4 or they go to +2.
Okay,
everything.
I think that's fair.
That's most likely.
That's probably what's going to happen. I was thinking, I'd like to hear your opinion on this, but if they change the broodlings to be a 2 energy instead of 3 energy, I feel like that would solve the problem with Surfer.
You think that would solve the entire problem with Surfer?
I feel like
Brood wasn't that good with it.
What decks is Surfer good in that doesn't involve Brood?
I mean, Brood definitely takes the Surfer to another level, I think. I think that would nerf Surfer significantly, but I don't think it would like... Yeah, actually, I agree that making them 2, I was even thinking of making them 1, but that might be too much.
Because then they can get killmongered. Yeah. And I don't know. But I think that'd be interesting. I think there's a lot of way they can address Surfer, so...
That would be a good change. So I don't know. Yeah, that would be, maybe I should, I think they, at this point, I'm sure they've already locked in the changes because they said it was like 2 weeks away or whatever. And usually they lock in changes like 3 weeks in advance.
Yeah. So Zabu, you want it at 4-2?
Yep, 4-2.
What do you think about 5-4? It's just
5?
Like,
no.
5 too much?
I think they're like too much.
Be too much?
I think that card would not be playable. Well, it'd be playable, but it just like wouldn't be, it'd be playable in like very niche, like I need these 3 specific 4-drops to play out and drop a bunch of power in the last turn.
Yeah, I feel like bumping it up to 4 would be good. All right, maybe we could do all the S tier cards.
I think there's only 1 more in my book.
Really? I feel like there's 2.
There might be 2. I think some people would put Galactus up there, but I wouldn't.
Okay.
Well, you're gonna put Darkhawk up there? I actually don't think Darkhawk is S tier.
Shuri's S tier though.
Shuri is S tier.
Yeah. Do you agree with what placement? I feel like Shuri's more busted than Surfer personally.
Yeah, I think Shuri's more busted than Zabu personally.
Okay, all right. I was thinking there was some debate for this, but I do think Shuri's the most busted card. I think Surfer and Zabu have a larger sample size and like normal players.
I think they're more played right now.
Yeah, so it's hard to gauge how good Shuri is because maybe like 5% of players have Shuri, but everyone has Zabu and Surfer.
Yeah, Shuri just got downgraded, so now that it's downgraded, it'll be more played, right? So we'll get a little bit more of a sample size, but I think Shuri can go into like a lot of decks, not just like the Shuri specific decks, and then like all Zabu decks could pretty much, not all of them, but a lot of them could just run Shuri and some other cards.
That's true, yeah. I've seen a lot of like Zabu Shuri Rock Slide just because adding 6 is good.
Yeah, I mean, like that's just like playing another Rock Slide, but yeah, I actually don't think it's that good if you're just... I took Shuri out of all of my Zabu decks that weren't running a card above 6 because I felt like it wasn't really worth it.
Okay, all right. So you don't think Darkhawk is S?
I don't think it's S because I think the thing that's making Darkhawk S is Zabu. So I think it's like, it's S because Zabu makes it S. Like it's Zabu that's S, not Darkhawk itself.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited to see Zabu get touched a little bit because I do want Darkhawk to be better. I remember before Zabu was a thing, I really enjoyed playing with Darkhawk, and now it's, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. But like using Bast and Darkhawk, that sort of stuff is fun. So I kind of agree. Yeah, once Zabu gets wrecked, then Darkhawk will be not as prominent.
Yeah, so I think Darkhawk could potentially be considered, like the Darkhawk Zabu deck is definitely S tier. But like, is it Darkhawk in that deck that makes it S tier, or is it the fact that you're playing Darkhawk for 2? Like, I
Right.
mean, yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with this. I feel like he's like top of A, maybe bottom of S, but yeah, once Zabu is not as prominent, he's just gonna fall out of popularity.
I was gonna say it could be like B after if Zabu was deleted. Like I think Darkhawk would be maybe B. You know,
B,
like,
really
possible.
that low? Okay.
I think
All
it's
right.
like it becomes like mostly like a 7, like a 4-8 on average because it's like you're not getting Rock Slide off consistently without like a Zabu card in the game.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Rock Slide would become the meta would change so much. It'd be crazy. And Goose would be good again. Oh, I'm excited. All
I
right.
wish Goose came back. Yeah.
Let's do a bad card. Embakku, F, but better than Orca.
I actually think Embakku might be C.
C, situational?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, bottom of C or like solid C?
So Embakku's actually playable in like 2-ish decks. Like by playable, so I mean like it's not the worst thing you could put in the deck, you know? So it's like worst cards would be F, like it can't be played, and if it is played, it's like making the deck terrible, you know? Like I think that's what F is to me. Embakku can be played in Cerebro 2 to good effect. It can be played in some Zoo lists that run Dazzler that want to fill up their board.
Okay, maybe like Dazzler Zoo list. I feel like Cerebro 2 decks, there's plenty of drops that are better than Embakku.
Yeah. I'm not saying that it couldn't be better, but I'm saying like it's not the worst thing you put in, like, which is F. It doesn't make the deck unplayable. It makes it still like competitive.
Okay, I can agree with C.
Yeah.
So Thanos, where would you put
I think Thanos is an A card, like top of A.
Top of A. Okay,
I think Thanos is very good, and I think the second that Zabu and Surfer get nerfed, I think Thanos would become very good.
Yeah, I could see that. I haven't played too much with Thanos. I just recently got him, but I feel like he hasn't been that great in my experience. But I do think I need to mess around with him a bit more, but I don't tend to lose to him too much. I think the Zoo buff decks are kind of the ones that seem to be better. So maybe like a Dazzler Thanos? I don't know. I'd love to.
Yeah, I don't know if Dazzler. I don't know if I really care about putting Dazzler in a Thanos list, because I think Dazzler can definitely be like just replaced with a more consistent card that you don't have such a big condition to fill.
What do you think about Lockjaw Thanos?
I think Lockjaw Thanos is. I've only experimented with it a little, and I think it is good. I think it is a good thing. I actually just tried for the first time like Spectrum Thanos, and I think it's actually pretty good too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I gotta mess around with them more.
Yeah.
Oh, how about Bast? How do you feel about Bast?
Bast is also top of A, right next to Thanos. I think
it might be better than Thanos.
I do. It's definitely. I don't know if I'd put it better than Thanos. Like it's pretty close, but I think in the current meta, it's better than Thanos only because Zabu kind of like takes like Zabu Darkhawk kind of hinders Thanos a lot. But I think Bast goes in like 5 different decks that I like. Like it goes in like Negative Surfer, Valkyrie 3, just any Valkyrie deck, I guess, in general.
Yeah, a lot more flexible.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
A couple Zoo lists, but yeah.
Do you like Cerebro 3?
Oh yeah, I like Cerebro 3.
I love Cerebro.
I think Cerebro 3 is as good as Cerebro 2.
I think it might be better. I think a lot of people don't realize how good it is, but maybe I'm coping, number one. But number two, like Bast, Valkyrie, it's just, I don't know. No one expects
I think, Cerebro 3 is much harder to play than Cerebro 2, I think. So it's like, it might be better, but it's like, takes 100 times more brain power to accomplish that better outcome. It's tough.
That's true. But Valkyrie, I would think is also A. I feel like around here. How do you feel about Valkyrie?
I was just gonna say, I think Valkyrie is B because she's more situational and like it requires a bigger setup and it doesn't always pay off. It's like really terrible against ongoing stuff.
That's true.
So it makes it a little bit more situational in that sense. And ongoing stuff is really popular right now. So that's just my take right now. I think like in the current meta, it's top of B, but it has the potential to go back up to like mid of A.
Okay, we could put her B. I feel like she's bottom of A, but we can put her in B here. I think, I think she's underrated. She could be used in Zoo decks. I feel like, I don't know, even like Thanos decks. Do you not think she'd be good in Thanos decks? I think she needs a lot more experimentation.
I had her in a Thanos deck, but I think it might be better not in the Thanos deck is the thing. Like it probably is good in the Thanos deck, but I think there's like slightly better versions of the Thanos deck without her. Because like I said, again, it's a 5 cost, so it does require a little bit of setup. And a lot of times you want to be playing out on like the last turn, so you need to be playing out with like another 1-drop or 0-drops. And so it requires a lot of setup and it requires a lot of your opponent not, or like letting you set it up also. Like they can't play their cards, like their ongoing cards in that lane. They can't play Cosmo in that lane. Like there's a lot of stuff that has to go right for it to work out.
Yeah. Have you seen her in Galactus?
Yeah, I actually I ran into a lot of problems with running her in Galactus because literally ongoing effects just like lose all the time. I ran her a bunch in Galactus and I kept losing to ongoing stuff.
Yeah, because I feel like the point of Galactus, it's like you Galactus a lane and then you have 3 deaths, so you go Valk death and you win. Yeah, so you throw priority. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I haven't really done it.
That would work. Yeah, if you could throw priority, but it's like you might as well just play like Null or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you threw priority, your Null will just win anyway.
All right, let's do Black Panther. How do you feel about Black Panther?
I think Black Panther's overrated personally. I think a lot of people throw him in Shuri decks when you don't need to. But yeah, the stats, we were looking at the stats a little earlier today, and it says he's like technically underrated for how much he's played, but I don't agree with it. I don't know. I think he's just played in good decks, so it makes him look better. But I think he is solidly B to like top of C, but I think he's B probably.
I feel like he's solid B, maybe top of B, so I guess we can put him here. I do feel like he's very predictable and readable. I think that's the main problem. I feel like he's generally paired with Arnim or like Wong, and Wong is so easy to shut down. Arnim's so easy to shut down, mostly because of Arrow. I think if Arrow was changed, that Black Panther would be a lot better. I've played a lot of like Wong Black Panther or Black Panther Zola, and I just get arrowed and I just want to die. So.
Well, it's so predictable that it's one of those things that if you know you don't have a tech card against it, like you can just retreat and be like, oh, I lost a lot of times, or play your Arrow or your Cosmo and you're like, oh, I won. It's just like too predictable, I think, is one of the things.
Yeah.
As you pointed out.
Yeah. Okay. We might have some disagreement here on Helicarrier.
Really? Do you not think it's an F tier card?
No, you think it's F? I think it's C tier. No?
What are you playing this in?
Dino Sif Ghost Rider decks. Everyone's saying, does chat think F?
Oh man, I think it's unplayable. I think like if you're putting that into a deck, you're just like memeing. Like you're just like trying to win with a bad card. You know, it's like personally,
I think I might be coping. I have a lot of fun with it in Dino decks, and I think it doesn't do terrible. It makes for really good YouTube videos. It's better than Orca. I think it's a league above Orca, but
I mean, yeah, you're making the same argument that I made for Embakku. So like, C is maybe potential, but I still think it'd be F. But
I think with 1 or 2 more proper discard cards or something like that, it could become a lot better. I really enjoy playing Collector into Sif, into Ghost Rider. Oh, is Modok? Oh, Modok might be. Wait, is Modok gonna make him okay?
No, because Modok's also 6, isn't it?
Is Modok 6? I haven't looked at Modok.
I think Modok's 6. Is Modok 5 or 6? It's 5? Oh, it's 5. All right. It could be playable, actually, then. Yeah, so in a Modok deck, you might play that, because then you get 6 drops that you can play on turn 6.
C. I'm putting a C. I'm doing it. Yeah, that
Modok
might
comes out
actually
in
be crazy.
4 days or something, right?
Yeah. Modok top deck Hela, or top deck Ghost Rider, or your Helicarrier gives you those cards. I don't know. Or maybe you put in, I don't know. It could be fun. It could be fun. Modok goes with Wolverine, Swarm, Apoc, Helicarrier.
Could be interesting, yeah.
Ooh, Swarm, yeah.
Yeah, Swarm and Apoc are going to be insane with Modok, I think.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Okay, similar to Helicarrier, maybe we could do with Agent Coulson. I think
he's C.
C? Top of C?
I think he's top of C.
Yeah.
A lot of people would probably put him in like B. I think even the more copium people think he's like A, but honestly, he's C.
I would say bottom of B, top of C. I think he goes well in maybe like Dino decks, but I feel like there's other options that are generally better.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm trying to think where else he'd be good in.
I think only Collector Dino. I think that's it.
It's just Collector Dino. Yeah, so unless we get more cards that kind of support that package.
Yeah, I've seen it to some okay success in Collector Dino, but it's like I think you could make a better Collector Dino without him, but he's definitely, it is interesting because it's like he generates 2 cards, which is like pretty unique, I think, outside of like Moon Girl, right? So
and they're on curve, right? So
yeah, But it's like, are you playing those out in your collector dino deck, or you're playing your cards that you actually put in your deck that you want to play out? That's the thing. I don't like random generation for that purpose. Is that like it's too high rolly that it's like generally you don't want to play those cards out.
I was gonna say I noticed he's actually not too bad in battle mode because your opponent doesn't know what to play around. You can maybe get some cubes off of them, but I don't think we're doing this list for that.
You know, that is interesting, actually. I didn't even think about it. Now that you say that, maybe we'll bring Coulson tomorrow.
For battle mode, I've noticed getting information and getting random cards is actually a lot better than people realize. Because you can try and get a cheeky 8-cube, 4-cube win if you randomly generate, you know, I don't know, a Killmonger, or you see
a Shang-Chi or something that you don't have in your deck.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, but this list isn't for that. Okay, Attuma. How do you feel about Attuma?
I think Attuma is solidly B, because I think it's very playable with Zabu, and like there's a good Zabu forecast list that like runs these like big cards. You run Invisible Woman and Armor, and it's very playable.
Yeah, I think Attuma. Well, we were talking about Darkhawk not being that good because of Zabu might get nerfed.
I think Attuma would still be somewhat playable because of Shuri. Like if Shuri also gets nerfed. Yeah, I do think the biggest hang up for Attuma is not like Zabu getting nerfed. It's just that if Magneto is too popular, Attuma is kind of garbage because it pulls Attuma into a lane that it dies in. So if you don't zero it, it just like if you just like armor it.
That's
so it's good in like the zero decks, but yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. But yeah, zero decks. I think Sauron, zero, Attuma. Actually,
well,
no,
Attuma doesn't fit in the
that.
Sauron list because it's not ongoing.
Right. You want Typhoid Mary instead.
Yep.
So he's only in zero lists, zero armor lists.
Yeah, Zabu lists.
Yeah, I guess I'd put him bottom of B then. I feel like
he's really good in C10.
Well, okay.
C10 is actually a decent deck, but maybe it'd be better if you just cut Cerebro and just make it that deck without Cerebro.
Well, it definitely is because Cerebro is only affecting like 2 or 3 cards.
Yeah,
right?
It's like a 3/6, but
so
that's not awful.
Well, are you the world champion right now?
Yeah, I'm still reigning champ. No one's beat my time that I know of.
Okay.
And if they had, I would be hopping on right now and reclaiming it. So
I haven't tried. You know, people told me they didn't want to see me reclaim it.
I did see that. I voted for you to do that. So
okay. Next card, Sentry. Now I have not bought Sentry. I do not see him that much either, but I think he's just trash.
I think he with Zabu might be situational just because Zabu exists. I don't think any 4-drop in the game is able to be F tier other than one that's not on this list, Crystal. I think Crystal is still F tier with Zabu, which shows just how terrible that card is. Yeah. Because Zabu pretty much makes every 4-drop playable.
That's true. I think Sentry is just really bad though. I feel it's great if you hit the Viper, or you have a Carnage, but it's too situational, and a 4 for 8. If you're just like carnaging it or something, it's not great. Like you have to hit the Viper, or you have to fill the right lane and then play Sentry usually, I don't know, on turn 6, and that's just not worth it. Like 4/9, maybe Sentry would be better.
I think it should be a 4/10, honestly. Like if it's gonna be playable, like if it's adding a -8 to the other side, like, the card just doesn't seem worth a 4/8. Like all the downside.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's bad.
So bottom of C, top of F is where I'd put it, but I'll put it in C. I think not enough experimentation has happened with Sentry yet, so we'll give them that.
Yeah, a lot of players don't have it.
Yeah. Sauron. I think Sauron is cracked.
Yeah, I think it's top of A, like next to Bast and Thanos, honestly.
Okay, yeah, I would agree with that. I would say borderline S tier, honestly. I might be coping.
No, actually, I wouldn't disagree with that, but it's like, when I look at Sauron and then I look at like a Zabu Surfer Shuri, it's kind of hard to put it right next to those, but it's like possible.
Yeah, once these get touched, I think they're falling behind Sauron, because I think the Sori list that has Shuri, Sauron, and then you have Zero, you have Maw, you have Taskmaster, Arnim Zola. All those are just it's such a good deck. It's such a good deck.
It's so good.
But Sauron is very predictable because he only fits in one archetype.
Yeah, I mean, they know you're running all the Red Skull, Mary, whatever, and then they probably know you're running Shuri too, so.
Dazzler.
I don't have Dazzler yet. I've seen it played a little bit. I think Dazzler is probably top of C, bottom B.
Okay, I feel like I can agree with that. I've never seen Dazzler played once, I don't think. And
I still don't. I don't even think it's revealed in my collection yet because I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen a single person play it.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe it's been randomly generated. I don't know. But yeah, I don't. Probably not though.
I've seen Cozy play it a bit, but like using like an Ultron deck, I also feel like Dazzler is another kind of predictable card where you know
like
your opponent's trying to fill.
Gonna be doing.
Yeah, you know their game plan. So
that's why I don't think it's that great. Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that it only fits in like that kind of package.
Yeah. So we thinking top of C maybe?
Yeah, I think the thing is like it's a 410 still, so it's like it could go bottom of B, but yeah. The fact that it requires a lot of like it is similar-ish to like Attuma in power because Attuma does have some like downsides similar to Dazzler. Dazzler just isn't a. I think it's just in worse decks than Attuma is the one thing. So that's why I would maybe top of C it.
Yeah, this is another card that needs a lot more experimentation because no one's willing to spend 6,000 collectors tokens on it.
Yeah, I almost did, and then I instead bought Shadow King, which is.
All right, let's do Shadow King then. Where do you think
knew Shadow King was bad going into it. I knew buying it. I don't think he's. No, he's probably bottom of C, honestly. Like he's like Helicarrier level.
Yeah.
I think he's the same as Super Skrull, honestly. So.
I guess let's talk about. We can just throw a Super Skrull in there. I mean, they're both 4-cost. They're both okay with Zabu, yet they still don't see that much play. I think not that many people
just
have.
Very
them.
situational. Like you need it's dependent on your opponent playing cards out that you need to interact with in a certain way. So they're tech cards in that sense. They're both tech cards. They're like, but worse tech cards than you would see for like Shang is just going to be available to use so much more often. Like even the Enchantress so much more often, and like Valkyrie so much more often. Where Shadow King is like very specific cards that it can interact with. Super Skrull, same thing.
They're I agree with you. There's other better, more flexible tech options than these. If you could have like a sideboard in a competitive mode, I think these would be insane, but you just...
Yeah, Super Skrull and a sideboard, that would actually be kind of cool.
Yeah, so maybe someone can implement a tournament like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shadow King's trash. I got wrecked by Shadow King once, and that was I Valkyried an Agatha, and then I was playing against Regis, and then he Shadow Kinged the Agatha to go back to full health, which was pretty crazy.
That's not bad. Actually, maybe Shadow King could be good in like a Valkyrie list of your own. Like you play Valkyrie in any list, and then you play Shadow King to bring your own units back up. Actually, but it would bring their units back up too. It's terrible. It's just it can't be played.
If you got to choose, like if it's only yours or theirs or something, yeah, Shadow King's just bad.
Yeah, it's garbage.
All right, let's do Galactus.
So Galactus is one of those ones that like it could almost be S tier. I think the current Galactus lists are getting so optimized that it's like it's pretty good now. Like it used to be like, oh, they're playing Galactus, I can just arrow them. You can still arrow it, but it's like you actually can't arrow it sometimes because they play Doc Ock and pull your arrow a turn early, and it's just like the Doc Ock I think makes Galactus so strong. When you get it the perfect draw, like you almost can't beat it. So it's just like that's why it's like close to S, but like it does require that like perfect setup, which doesn't happen every game, but you can just retreat if you don't get it.
Also, you don't often get more than 2 cubes with Galactus.
Yeah, your opponent
he wins a lot.
Well, sometimes your opponent has like the tricky play that they think they have, but maybe you have a more tricky play with Galactus. Like if you just play Null out, like I've beat a couple Galactus players just like dropping a Shang on the last turn and killing their Null, and that's just like I win. But so I stay in sometimes against Galactus, but yeah, you do get 2 cubes most of the time.
I feel like you have to hope they either like don't have the Spider-Man or they don't have the Shang.
Yeah,
it's rough
for sure. Yeah, I think top of A makes sense.
Yeah. Oh my god, I got a sub. T. Williams, 39 months. That's a lot of months.
That's a lot of months.
Thank you.
Wait, how long have you been streaming?
1, 2, 3, 4, 6 years. It'll be 6 years in April.
Really?
Yeah.
And you started with Hearthstone?
Yeah.
Damn.
Back when it was fun. You remember those days?
Yeah, that's when I worked on Hearthstone.
Yeah. What'd you do in Hearthstone?
Back when it was fun. I did analytics.
Oh wow, that's why you're so smart.
That's why I like looking at the numbers.
Yeah, we need better analytics on Snap. Null. I don't have Null.
You don't have Null.
Don't have Null.
All right, well, he's garbage outside of every single deck except for Galactus.
Yeah, so I guess that's top of C, but in a Galactus deck, I feel like...
I think it's B, because it's
B?
like becoming more playable in the Galactus deck, so it's like bottom of B.
Above Attuma?
I think it's like maybe below Attuma. Like, it is good in the Galactus deck, I think, nowadays, like with the Doc Ock play, but it's like it's not necessary, I don't think, to win with Galactus, because you have a couple other options, like you have Death and some other stuff that just goes in with Galactus, so you don't need the Null, but it is one of those cards that like it'll beat things like Valkyrie and other things.
But it loses to Super Skrull.
Only if you don't play Death with it.
It's true.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I know you're kind of memeing when you say that.
All right, Maria Hill.
Oh, Maria Hill, I think is... Some people have Copium and put Maria Hill in like a bunch of decks, and I'm like, oh no. I think it's bad. I think it's bottom of C. Like,
Bottom
it's
of C.
barely playable. Like maybe not below Sentry or Helicarrier, but I think it's like right next to Shadow King and Silver Skrull.
I put her in my Dino Collector Agent Coulson Helicarrier list, and she does great there.
Yeah,
but,
so she goes right in between Agent Coulson and Helicarrier here.
Yeah, I would say right around here. Better than Embakku, I think. I
like am more willing to play Embakku than Maria Hill in decks.
Really?
Honestly. Yeah.
Okay, well I'd say they're around the same. She feels good sometimes if you play her on 2 and you have another 2-drop in your hand. Maria Hill on 2 into Lizard and a 1-drop on 3. It's not awful in like a token.
I think just
sort
dropping a random 1-drop on your board griefs you more often than like adding the extra power that you get from the 1-drop. Like, I'm skipping turns a lot of times instead of playing out 1-drops, you know?
There's a lot of bad 1-drops out there.
Yeah, I know that because of Shanna. Let me tell you.
Speaking of Shanna,
there's a lot of bad 1-drops.
I don't have Shanna. You have Shanna?
I played a lot of Shanna. I tried to make Shanna great, and I don't think she's great, but I think she could be bottom of B, because I think she's actually playable in like zoo-ish list. I do think that she is not A or S. I was trying to make her A, and I just couldn't do it. Could not make a list that made her good enough.
A little less good than Null?
Yeah, a little less good than Null.
Yeah, I saw Shanna like once or twice. I think it was like the first day she came out, and then never again.
Yeah.
I would love to mess around with her, but you told me she's awful, so maybe...
Well, not awful. She's B.
Okay, sorry.
We might need to move Valkyrie up, looking at these cards that we have in B.
Yeah, I was going to say,
let's on the same level as Zeus.
Let's reorganize this and finalize it. I feel like Valkyrie should be higher.
Yeah. Can we add a tier? Because I feel like, is it too late for your video to add a tier?
Okay, yeah, we can do this. So let's reorganize this and final Orca down here.
Yep.
We can just shift everything down, I guess.
Yeah.
So
I think
D. Maria Hill C.
I think Maria Hill could be C. Like,
do we think Valkyrie goes up? Or do you think she's good in B and we drop Shanna to C?
Yeah, I think dropping Shanna and Null to C, maybe.
Does this seem...
This looks a little bit better. Like, this now feels a little bit more separated into what I would think. Yeah. I think people would look at this and then be like, Darkhawk's too low, but...
Yeah, I see a lot of people complaining in the chat, but...
are they actually saying that about Darkhawk?
I think they weren't here for the reasoning, but Darkhawk's only good because of Zabu, enabling Darkhawk to be played in addition to Rock Slide. So without Zabu, we think Darkhawk's quite a bit worse, but I mean...
if you do grade him in the current meta and you tie him to Zabu, I do think he would be tied with Zabu, because it's like the best deck of Zabu is the Darkhawk deck, but it's like, yeah.
So
it's like you can't do that though, I don't think necessarily, but you could say that. That's the argument. Like, you can say that, but it's like, it's not the card itself. It's like the cards that are enabling it. So it's like, that's the question, like when you're grading the cards, are you grading the deck or are you grading the card in the deck?
Right. Yeah. So it's a little hard to grade, but after the Zabu nerf and the Silver Surfer nerf, this is going to be completely outdated. So we'll make a new video then.
Yep.
So I guess
I'm curious to see what they do.
Put them up here for now, since this is for the current meta.
Yeah, for the current meta, yeah. If you want to say the current meta, yeah. If you want to get one of the S tier decks, you have to have Zabu and Darkhawk, so that makes sense to put them up there for now, like in this current meta.